All righty. Well, the Supreme Court. Everybody loves it. Not really, but. So, the Supreme Court made two particular rulings that everyone is shitting their pants over. One is basically the gun ruling that basically states, yeah, we're not going to take your guns away, this and that. And then ultimately, New York City or New York was wrong to try to, basically grab your guns. Maybe I'm leaving some details out, but the big one is, of course, reversing Roe v. Wade and giving that control back to the states. Everybody is up in arms, and this relates back to the title here. I just got through listening to, of course, Bo the Fifth Column, Justin King. It's been a while since we mentioned him. Who, of course, tried to do his mean mugging. He was, like I say, the mean mugging and the anger that he tried to promote in this one wasn't nearly as intimidating, or at least attempting to be intimidating, as he's done before. Of course, he gave the fear mongering where it's like, oh, well, mothers are going to die, and teen marriage, there's going to be more child marriages, and you can't just move, power coupons and all this other stuff. I'm going to say this, is that there are folks who do see this as a win. I think you can, to a point. But I think it's just a veneer. Ultimately, it goes to show how fragile things are. Now, do I think it's going to be a civil war? No, not yet. But I think that there will be attacks, there will be this and that. Of course, we saw that, Kavanaugh had his house, you had they were protesting outside of his house. There was a guy who came that close to, trying to assassinate him. That would influence my decision too. I'd be like, well, fuck you. Fuck you. If you want to try to kill me, bitch ass nigga, I'm going to take it. I try not to use the N word, but I'm going to say it in this particular tone. It's like, nah, fuck you. You going to try to kill me? Okay. All right. And then, of course, talking about the lying and everything else like that. Of course, they're not going to talk about Clarence Thomas. I mean, you'd have to really get your racism out. But libs are the real racists, though. That's the whole thing. Libs are the real racists. And they are going to use some, you're going to see that more and more, I bet you. More of this sort of, they're not going to say the N word, but they're going to heavily imply it. And they're going to call him a coon. They're going to call him an Uncle Tom. Because it makes sense right there. Uncle Thomas, yeah, that's what they're going to call him. So it's going to be interesting. I don't really see this as a full-on victory. I mean, they call people like, Kavanaugh and call Roberts and whatnot. They're extremists. No, they aren't. They just don't care, And the thing is, I mean, I imagine as much as they may complain about each other, whatever, the people at the Supreme Court talk about, but it's like, it's a lifetime gig, dude. You get to go up there, make your judgments and whatnot, write your opinions, and you're not going to get fired. That's a fucking, like I say, who doesn't want that sort of job? That you can just spend the rest of your life doing that. It's a sweet gig, But anyway, the only response that you get is, we have to unpack the courts. We have to do it by getting in. We have to open up the courts, and we need to have like 24 judges. I don't know. And we're gonna dilute the the influence of these extremists. And it's just like, give me a fucking break. Give me a break. People are full of shit. The thing is that what you'll never hear, and of course, what I saw this from not Rageaholic or what is that guy's name, the God fucking Speed guy. But anyway, and he was saying, of course, talking about Roe v. Wade was a lie. It was a lie. She was never raped, and it's just like, oh, it's so ridiculous. And of course, he doesn't talk about it, but you see what happens with the lawyers that were involved with that as well. These were both dedicated, libs basically, and dedicated, like, maybe not socialists. I don't want to go that far, but these were dedicated folks who were down for the cause. One was married and then, became a lesbian. The other one, I think, just lived alone for the rest of her life and died with cats surrounding her or something like that. So it's just like these, the lawyers that got Roe v. Wade that, represented Jane Roe, they were looking for somebody that fit the narrative. And even though it didn't really, it was complete bullshit, they found a way to redo it. And Norma McCorvey played that role. Now, of course, she was a lesbian, this and that, yada, yada, yada. Who cares? But the thing is, people think that, oh my goodness, it's so awful and whatnot. It's just ridiculous to me. It just goes to show just how ridiculous people are. I hate to just keep on using ridiculous or things like that, but maybe my vocabulary is too limited. But I think that we see how, any upset of the system, any little upset, this is a relatively little hiccup, but now everybody's up in arms, either hooray or we're going to do something about it, all this over abortion. I'm going to have a little apple chip if you'll excuse me. But it's so ridiculous to me to think that something so small, relatively speaking, is going to affect all that. And feel as you want to about abortion. I personally don't agree with it. People can talk about abstinence, this and that. I guess people are just too fucking horny. But yeah, they make excuses for it, whatever. I think that's all I really have to say on that. It's just ridiculousness. If people, I don't want to get it confused. I think there's a point where I can see this as sort of a victory if you're a full-on like trad guy. But I think in a way it's just like, I realize to a point as well is that those folks don't represent me. You think Justice Clarence Thomas gives a shit about what I do? Not really. And of course, you can go into, I'm going to upload a Vosh clip that I saw today. He ended his stream early because he was watching the January 6th committee or whatever and I think he has some medical issues. So he's like, well, I'm going to end the stream, but I've got a Vosh clip that I'm going to upload. I think I'm just going to upload it on the main channel. But I got it down where he's basically just like, yeah, bro, no more unprotected sex and all this, it basically goes to show, his sort of hedonistic belief where it's like, bro, I just want to have sex. I just want to stick my dick in something, He doesn't obviously say that, but just the rhetoric of it, you're just like, oh, that's really what it's about for him. It's just him banging whoever he wants and not getting somebody pregnant, The thing is, man, is that it's funny that the word extremist has been so bent out of shape that you don't really know what it means. It's like people think that, this kind of goes in the idea of this, like, on a long enough timeline, we'll win. That you hear from Bo the Fifth Column. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? You're going to create a more equal society? It's been tried before. You think that you're different? But yeah. So for me, you can go ahead and praise it, bask in it. But I feel like that victory isn't for us. Now, it could be sacrilegious and just say it's for the children. I'm not going to go there, even though I just said it, but I'm a little cautious of that. What I will say is that it shows that we have not completely broken down. But I think once the libs try to come up, I mean, let's put it this way: is they spent so damn long trying to get in Merrick Garland. I mean, look at that poor guy now. He's so emasculated. He's been waiting for so long because he's been this simp, waiting to get into the Supreme Court. And it's just he's so old. I mean, how old is Merrick Garland? I'm curious. They spent so damn long trying to get him in. Yeah, he's Attorney General because they couldn't get him out. He's only 70 years old. He looks like he's 80. He's 69 years old. Lol, lol, lol. Joke, joke, joke. Ha, ha, ha. But and of course, Attorney General Eric Garland warns against violent protests as DOJ strongly disagrees with High Court ruling on Roe. It's ridiculous to me. It's a case that was built on lies. But I think that's all I have to say on that. I've repeated myself and kind of schizoed my way through it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that video. Feel as you want to about those rulings. Ultimately, in my opinion, they don't really mean too much, in my view. But maybe I've just kind of checked out on some things. And I think that until full-on, I'll just say it, full-on insurrection or full-on combat, I'm not concerned. Anyway, that's all I got. See you later. Goodbye.